Hi Odis fam, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful and amazing cowl neck top. You can see display on the screen. You can see how beautiful this is. This is so timeless. This top is so timeless. Wow, if this is something you're interested in, all right, stay tuned and watch and see how it goes. All right, the first thing you have to do is to draft out your basic bodies, which is your basic body pattern for your top. This is shorter than a full length for top and longer than a half length. So what I'm using for this particular tutorial is length 19. I don't want it too long. As you can see how it's displayed on my body for the first part of the video, that is how the length of this outfit is going to look like. So if that is what you want, you can just use exactly the same length I'll be using. So after drafting out the bodies, mind you, the yard I'm using for this particular tutorial is just 1 yard. 1 yard and you are good. Even with the flay hand, 1 yard and you are okay. So first thing I have to do is to cut out the back piece for this particular outfit. So I have to arrange my fabric just to cut the back piece out with this particular fabric. So once I just put out the material on this fabric, I will just cut out the back piece exactly as seen in that particular drafting paper. In that particular drafting paper, what I did was my measurements, both my waist, my hip, my shoulder measurements, everything was drafted out with just 1 inch allowance. So in this particular fabric, there is no need adding extra allowance for it. I will just go ahead and cut it all the way down. Only what I will be adding as my allowance will just be my sewing allowance, which will be for the under, that's to turn it over, that is to sew it, because I'm not going to be using a lining. It's just a lycra fabric, which is a colored lycra fabric, so I'm not just going to be using a lining. So I'm going to be leaving out at least maybe like an inch or 0.7 just to fold my under of this particular outfit. So now at this point, what I have to do is just to cut it out. Then you see me cutting it out, and then I will know that the back piece of this particular outfit is set. But if you have drafted out your paper, mind you, and you didn't add any sewing allowance to it, you can as well put out your sewing allowance on the fabric when cutting it. But mine, I've already added the sewing allowance, which is 1 inch. There is no need for too many allowance. It's just a cowl neck top and it's always so free and beautiful. So when I'm done cutting this out, I'll just move this away, move out my drafting paper away, and then keep out my back piece and move over to the front piece of this outfit. Well, I don't have to fast forward any part of it because it's a very detailed tutorial. So the next thing I have to do to get the front piece is at the midpoint of it, just 1 inch over that's my armhole, which is my armhole. I'll just divide it, put my scissors in between it and cut it. You will know the essence of cutting it out is just to get that flap, that falling down of it, that is the draping down of it on the chest line, which is the cowl neck. You will know the reason once I put the drafting paper on this particular fabric. You have to cut it in between that. There are so many methods of getting this cowl neck done. For this particular tutorial, this is the method I'll be using. So you just get your scissors and cut it. You don't have to put it on a straight line. What you have to do now is to slant it. You can see me, I've just slanted it out like this to get it done. Remember to add your allowance of 1/2 inch or 1 inch at the down part of it, so you can as well fold it just like how we did at the back piece already. So I don't want mine dripping down so much, so what I did was just 10 inch. I just open it to 10 inch and then I'm using my chalk to draw the line straight. If you want yours coming down so much, you saw how my video was now, none of my cleavage was showing, so I just want some sense of decency on it. But if you want yours coming down, you can make yours, you can slant it broad and then make yours open the way you want it. But if you want exactly what I wore, so you can just do it exactly as seen here. So once I've used that my chalk, to roll it out. The next thing I have to do is, I don't want to cut out a separate paper, a separate material for my lining. So this is the beautiful trick you are going to learn from this tutorial. You can take out 6 inch from that particular line which I draw in the front, take out 6 inch up, and then from the shoulder part take out 1.5 inch. You can see me drawing that together. The main essence is that that part is going to be like a turnover inside as the chest line, just to make it stay and relax. Then I will use my needle and then tack it all together. Once I cut it out, you will see what I'm talking about clearly. Sorry I didn't draw my camera closer so that you can see what I'm talking about. Once I put out my scissors, you will see what I'm talking about clearly. You can just do it this way and you don't have to use lining to start turning it all over. This way is just so easy, smart, and beautiful. You know, it's this kind of fabric, you don't need to add lining and all of that, so it's okay. The fabric is not light, it's beautiful fabric and it stretches. So I just have to put out that little part of it and then cut it exactly as it is in the fabric, as you can see me doing. So right now, as you are watching this tutorial, I believe by now you'll be able to subscribe and then like and put a comment on the comment section for me. Just ask whatever question you want and I'm sure to answer you. So at that midpoint, at that shoulder part, I will have to notch it just to indicate that yes, that part which I have taken up, I have to turn it in at the back so that will be the lining part that is just going to cover it. You can see what I'm talking about. That part which I extended it with 6 inch and then 1.5 inch from the shoulder part is what has taken inside as my lining. You can see, wow, our cowl neck top is forming already. You can see how beautiful it's coming out. If yours is like this after you've cut it out, that shows that yes, you are doing the right thing. And then this is what I'm talking about, that will be serve as the lining and the inner. So we have to go over and then keep this aside and go over to the hand. For the hand and then the sleeve is just a flea hand, just a long sleeve, and then the down part of it is going to be a flea hand. So what I have to do is just to get maybe you can use 10, you can use 11, just depending on how wide you want your fleece to be, and then you cut it exactly how you want the length. If it's 24 length, if it's 22 length, for this particular one my length is 24, so that is what I used, and then I drafted it out and then cut it out. The first thing I have to do when we head over to the sewing machine is to use my bias to turn out the back piece of my fabric. That's the neck part. As you can see me do, it's neatly sewed. After turning it out, the next thing I have to do is to fold out, using that same 1/2 inch to fold out the knee parts. That is the behind the beneath part of it. So I'll just fold it out that way. You can see me doing that. This down part have to just be folded. That is just the allowance which we kept out for this. As soon as I'm done with that, I'll just get out the front piece. As I've told you earlier on, this front piece I have to tack it in inside that part at which I don't want, you know, as a cowl neck, you don't want it to be falling down when you bend down. You don't want everything that's that inner to come out. So you can just get your needle and thread and then tack it as you can see me doing. Just tack it as so and you are good to go. Well, some people can use you can use your sewing machine to do that, but me, I prefer to use my needle and thread. Just tack it. You can double your needle and thread. Just tack it at the two sides, which is the other part and then the other part, and then at the midpoint you tack it as so. As soon as you are done tacking it, what you have to do now is to fold the under part, just as I have folded the under part of the back piece. You will see me folding it now just to show you what I'm talking about. I'll fold the down part of it just as we've done the back part of it already, using the same 1/2 inch to do the same thing. It's very good for you to keep all this record using the same measurements you are using for the first. You use it for the back, you use it for the side. Just make sure everything is accurate just to get a better and a perfect result. After that, I move over to joining my shoulders together. You can see me doing that, joining out the shoulder of the right part, and then we'll move over to the left part and then join it as seen in this particular video. Yeah, so when you are done joining them together, you just pick out your sleeve. You can see this is so simple. It doesn't take time. Within an hour of cutting and sewing, you are done. If you are fast, in within 30 minutes you are done. And it's so timeless. You just pick out your sleeve, get the midpoint, fix it there, and then you run a very neat stitch all along. Don't sew on a loose stitch. Make sure you sew on at least a moderate stitch or a tight stitch, so that your fabric will not lose away. It's loose. It's a drawing fabric, which is this lycra fabric. So as soon as I'm done joining the two parts, I will just move ahead using my 1 inch, that is the sewing allowance, and sew everything all down. Wow, this is just so simple. Please don't forget to like, comment, and then subscribe to our channel. Sew with all this fashion. As soon as this is done, what I will have to do is just to display and see how beautiful this can be. You see, it doesn't really take time, both the cutting and sewing. You see, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want my cleavage showing on it. Wow, this is so beautiful. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.